Hello everyone. Today we'll talk about enumerations. Enumerations are used to define a type for a group of related values so that they can be used in a way that is type safe. Here is an example of enumeration. We create an enumeration of direction, and direction is a new type, and it contains a group of related values, and those values are north, south, east, and west. Once we have defined the enumeration, we can use it later on as a data type. For example, for D equal to east, and east is of the type of direction. So we note it down as direction.east. And then later on we can assign D to .south. This is because, again, Swift has done a wonderful job of type inference. Since we already know that D is of the type of direction, we can omit the name of direction later on when we specify a value for D. Enumeration is often used with the switch statement. So switch D case direction.north, we do something. Case.south, we do something else. And again, here direction is omitted. For the purpose of conciseness, you can also put all the related value in one line separated by comma. Here we define another enumeration of gender, which contains male and female. So far we have seen the enumeration features of Swift language that is very similar to other languages like C and C++ or Objective-C. But Swift enumeration provides a very powerful new feature, which is called associated values. Let's look at some examples. For example, here we have another enum called a school grade, and it includes the value of high school, middle school, and elementary school. And the high school has an associated value of integer, which specifies which year of high school it is. First year, second year, etc. And middle school also has an integer to specify the year. These are called associated values. And the associated values don't have to be one. You can have more than one associated values. For example, in the case of elementary, we care about the year, but for some mysterious reason, we also care about the gender. So elementary has two associated values, integer and the gender is another enum defined over here. And then we can use the enum of school grade. Var G equal to school grade dot high 1, so G is the first year high school. And then we do G equal to dot elementary 3 dot male. Now G becomes the third year elementary school and male. And to use the G with switch statement, we can do switch G dot middle let year. This is saying that if G is middle school, we don't care about the year, but we want to bind the value of the year to the variable year so that later on we can use that variable. As we talked about before, this is called value binding. And similarly, case.elementary to let gender. This is saying that if G is a second year elementary, we don't care about the gender, but we want to bind the value of gender. And last one is also similar. If G is elementary school, we don't care about the year, we don't care about the gender, but we want to bind both values. Now in this case, we have binded all the associated values, and there's a more concise way of doing that. We can remove the let over here and put a let over here. This is doing the exact same thing, but this is more concise. So as you see, the associated values can provide additional information for the member values of your enumeration, which is very convenient for you to create new types. The last thing I want to talk about is the raw values of an enumeration. When we have an enumeration like this, each one of these members is represented with a built-in data type value, which is called raw value. And most of the time, we don't care about the raw value. We only care about that each member is represented with a unique value. But sometimes we do want to care about this raw value, and we want to take advantage of this raw value. For example, in this case, I want to use integer to represent north, south, east, and west. And to do that, I need to specify the raw value type over here, int. So now each member is represented with an integer. And by default, north is 0, south is 1, east is 2, west is 3. And if you don't like the default value, you can always change it. For example, if we change north to be 2, and then south is 3, east is 4, west is 5. Once we have specified the raw value type of the enumeration, we can use a property called raw value to access the raw value. So direct.west.raw value will return 5. And if we have d1 equal to direct.east, d1.raw value returns 4. We can also do the reversed conversion. Enumeration has an automatically generated initializer which takes a raw value as a parameter. So if we do d2 equal to direct raw value 3, this will create a enumeration value with the raw value of 3. And we know d2 will be equal to south. One thing to note is that this initializer is kind of special. It returns an optional. Why it does that? When you convert a raw value to an enumeration value, the conversion may not succeed because not every raw value has a corresponding enumeration member. For example, if we want to convert raw value of 9 to an enumeration, this conversion will not succeed and it will return nil. And if we try to unwrap d2, the program will crash. So this is why this initializer returns an optional. So when you convert a raw value to an enumeration member, making sure you are using a legitimate raw value. Not only can you use integer as the raw value, you can also use uint, float, double, string, and character as the raw value. And here is a second example of the enum where we are using string as the raw value. So north equal to north, south equal to south, east equal to east, west equal to west. And if we do direct2.north.raw value, it returns a string of north. This can be very handy when we need a string representation for each of these members. And last thing I want to note is enum is like struct. It is a value type, not a reference type like a class. Thank you for watching. Feel free to download the notes from my website and practice with it. See you next time.